Homestead OC here. Been taking out this brick wall here. It made this corner, and then kind of continues on here. And I've already taken the capstone off of it, piled it up, and kind of disassembled some of the wall. There's some leftover pieces here. But what I'm doing with it is a little veggie garden bed. This is kind of like the only annual place that we have, and built this little, I don't know, anti-chicken hoop house. It's 10 feet long, 2.5 feet wide. These little supports here are 2.5 feet, and it's all dry fit together with PVC. I didn't really need this bar here. I should have just used like some wire, something to hold that, because it cost me a couple extra bucks using these T's at both ends. What looks like chicken wire is actually a roll of stucco wire. I don't know what you call it, but we got a free roll from the neighbor, and it's been sitting on the side of the house for close to a year, and thought it'd be a cool thing to do. So right now I kind of crudely leveled the spot, and putting in the brick as a border. It's going to be a raised bed. I think I can get 2 high, and then what I'm going to do is kind of dig this out a little bit more, and I'm going to put some logs that we have. Can't really get rid of them. We could burn them, but it's the middle of summer and it's Southern California, so who needs a fire? But yeah, we're gonna dig this down a little bit, do a little huglekultur in here, and then get some compost from the forested side of the property, and bring it in here, mix it with some native soil, and see what happens. So we got a few things, nothing fancy, mostly squashes. 2 strawberries. We got a acorn squash, a yellow bell pepper, orange bell pepper. There's a butternut squash, a watermelon, zucchini, and a patty pan squash in this mix. So this is just to give them a fighting chance, and then once they overgrow this area and start spilling over, we'll take this off and kind of leave it be. We do have a couple other plants that we have in pots, and we're going to move these to this backside here. We got some corn that we're going to put here that we've been growing in pots, and another couple sunflowers that made it past the chickens because we had them closer to the house where they didn't want to come. This direction's west, and then this direction's south, so we got plenty of sun here. And I'm actually considering putting the corn on this side to try and give it some evening shade. It can get kind of rough right here. This is kind of a hot patch. That's why I put these pomegranate trees. They can do with the drier conditions a little bit better. But it so happens that I have a irrigation pipe here, so we're gonna run some drip irrigation in here, maybe do a loop in and then back out. The drippers are spaced 12 inches apart, and they're 0.5 gallon per hour. The timer for this line does 4 hours a day, so 2 gallons per day per dripper. Should be plenty. Yeah. So we'll get back to it, get these stacked up. If we have any missing areas that we can't stack as high because we run out of bricks, then we got some other bricks in a different part of the yard we can bring those from. But the bricks are so close, and I don't want that wall there anymore, so we'll go ahead and take that out. So I just started rocking this wall, and the whole thing fell over. So it's going to be a little bit easier than what I originally thought. I think the only thing that was supporting the rocking was this little corner section here, but that's already gone, so should be quick work. And we're finished. The wall took most of it, and then I had to grab maybe 6 or so bricks from another part of the lot. Just some spare bricks that I guess were left over from the previous owner. So now we're gonna be digging down. I haven't really decided yet. I'll just go till it gets hard, and then we'll do maybe one course of logs across the bottom, fill it in with some native soil, and then I got a little bit of leaf mulch / compost from that was just laying on the ground here. A lot of pine needles, and we have a separate part of the yard that's got quite a bit of good dirt in, but whatever we dig up from here, we'll mix in with this. So I filled up a wheelbarrow load, and I didn't give any video of it before, but there was a big hole here the chickens had made for me, so I appreciate that. We're just gonna go ahead and mix it in with this good soil all around here. Chickens really like it back here, so it's gonna get tilled in with everything else in no time at all. But this area of the lot's been, you know, it's got a nice forest canopy here. I cleared out a few paths that I can walk through and look for egg nests from the chickens. But that's about it. Everything's just been chopped and dropped and left here. These are trimmings from the power company. They just come and cut it and leave it all here, and I just push it to the edge, and I think over time it's just gonna eventually break down. I don't know, but I come back here and I use what I can and kind of leave the rest here. I'd say it might be my zone 5 if anything, but right here we got an apricot tree, so it's not that far away from the house. But it's a place that we leave wild, and we just kind of go and pick up what we need when we need it. So we're gonna fill this wheelbarrow up with a good amount of this composted forest soil, and set it aside, and we'll just keep doing that until we get to the right depth, and then we'll start a little Huglekultur bottom layer and go from there. Here's another one of my little wood piles. I got a few here. These are mostly brush. This is stuff that's kind of organized for the chipper. And then this is the scraggly brush. The tractor there. Back there in that back corner, that's where our little forest area, zone 5 if you will, is, and it's where the chickens prefer to hang out, so it can only get better with time. It's going to take a little dip as I start moving a lot out to fill this vegetable garden, but as long as I don't over harvest the soil from one area, it should bounce back pretty good and continue doing what it's doing. Here's my line of fruit trees in case you haven't seen any of my other videos, but the idea here is multiple varieties of the same fruit, so it'll spread out the harvest, and so we don't get 50 pounds of peaches or pears or plums at one time. It's all spread out. I'm sure most people know that idea, but in case you didn't, it's a good idea. Here's my other Huglekultur mound in the back. This hasn't taken off the way I wanted it to. I ran out of wood chips to cover it, so it's just a bunch of logs in there, and it's waiting another load of wood chips for my tractor to haul back and dump on here. It's in a pretty good situation. I dug that down pretty deep, and there's a lot of carbon there for sure. So I'd like to get my wood chips piled up around there and give the chickens about a year to scratch it in and fertilize it quite a bit. So anyway, on to collecting the logs, and we'll just do one layer of these. It's I'm not going to go deep enough to have a few, and I don't want it mounded that high, and it's just kind of a some place to bury this because I don't have a way to get rid of it. It's too big for my chipper, and the other big Huglekultur is already full, so we'll use what we can. Here's our layer. Came up a little bit more than I thought, but some of the stuff on top is pretty loose. It'll break up and fill in the cracks. I didn't want it too high. The roots need to be able to make their way through there. They should do that no problem. A lot of the stuff is old and dry, and it should suck up quite a bit of moisture from the drip emitters. Here's our rooster, Biff Tannen, making an appearance. And here's our wheelbarrow full of dirt. I mixed in a little bit of the clay. You can see that on top. But this is mostly what it is. It's I wouldn't say it's finished soil, so that's kind of why I want to mix quite a bit of clay in here. But it should do pretty good. Anything that falls in there, it just comes right up, so we shouldn't have a problem with these annuals. All right, here's the next stage. Just got the wheelbarrow, so I'm trying to conserve my walking time by filling that to the brim and then piling dirt on the side. This is what's going to stay and mix with the forest topsoil from the back, and then I'll get a few more loads to top dress the whole thing. This is kind of like a lasagna I did here. It was the logs, some clay on top, and then a full wheelbarrow full of dirt with some clay soil mixed in, and then I just kind of threw some of the stuff on top of here so I could get more dirt out of here and be able to lay the longer logs without having to cut it. All right, section 2. Ready to dump this load and start mixing in this clay. This is a continuation from last night. I got tired, a lot of dirt to haul, and it's getting dark anyway, so next day got quite a bit of stuff planted here. Strawberry, orange pepper, yellow pepper, watermelon, zucchini, patty pan squash, acorn squash, spaghetti squash. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to surround it with corn. Well, at least on this back side, I'm going to put a couple corn plants, so I'm going to see if they can support acorn squash or spaghetti squash. There's a butternut squash in here too, but I don't know. There's going to be a lot of squash in this bed for sure, so we're excited. I decided to keep it how it is for now, and then once things get going and they're taller than my covering, then what we'll do is we'll put some bricks or some boards on the inside or something like that so it can sit on top of this taller level and give it a few more inches, and then we'll just let the vining squash grow out from underneath, or maybe out one of the side bricks or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So right now we're going to put some mulch all around here to keep on the moisture, but first I'm going to lay my drip line down here, and I'll probably just do a pass here and back, and we'll just kind of water the whole bed and get it really cranking. All right, got the plants in, and we're starting to do the mulch on top. This mulch has been sitting out for a while. Chickens have had access to it. There's a lot of little goodies in there. This is the entrance to their coop, and that's where I scooped it from. When I throw treats, I'll throw them all around here so they get to peck in and finding stuff. And I've caught some lizards, and there used to be a giant wood pile here, so there's a lot of good stuff in there. I think it's going to be a good mulch, and it won't be too hot. I thought for a minute about taking out of the chicken coop, but there's quite a bit in here, and I'll probably top dress it with this later in the season to give it a little boost, kind of after this stuff starts breaking down. So we'll finish unloading it, and we already got the drippers on, routed. I have this line right here for my 2 pomegranate trees on either side, and it does, down on this side, looped around the corn, and there's a sweet potato there, and then down this way, and it stops. Instead of a stopper, ended with a half-gallon dripper. All these sites, every 12 inches is a half-gallon. Seems like it's going to be a lot right now, but once the heat of the summer picks up, it's going to probably be just right. I decided not to put the corn in the front. One of the strawberries in the front, they're the lowest, and then we kind of step up from there. But these are the tallest out of the bunch that's in this row, but all of these are squashes, and I want the 2 vining squashes. I think we even have, I think it's 2 vining squashes, butternut and an acorn. I want them to try and grow up the corn there, and then also these IBC totes. So it should turn out pretty good. I'm gonna level the mulch off with the top of the brick, and then later on I'll mound it over and try and build it up pretty high with some stuff from the floor of the chicken coop after it gets going. And we need to keep these guys out of there because look at that. Okay, here we go, finished product. Left the mulch a little bumpy, just in case it rains. It'll collect little divots and stuff and make its way down in there. There's no real plan to it. It's just I don't have to do anything aside from shovel it on, and I think that it'll be better for catching rain instead of running it off, because the bricks are porous, so the first couple rains it's gonna leach soil and fill in the cracks. And there we go. Thank you so much for watching. I know it was long, and I appreciate you staying till the end. Please like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day.